Data from your information management can be published using Stambia Data Integration. The information system may also have different set of APIs you need to manage and centralize. For that, you need API management tools, which acts as an intermediary between your data services and clients and provide a single point of entry where you can set up various policies. Let's say you have your data in a big query table for all the information on music artists and bands and their tracks. You then build queries on the hierarchical data to have the output flattened. You want to use this query and publish an API for users to get albums and track information by providing a particular artist or band name. In this scenario, we have the data in BigQuery, which needs to be exposed to the clients with the ability to manage the APIs. With Stambia, you can manage source and target metadata, use them to design your data exchanges and transformations, and publish them as a web service. In the BigQuery metadata, users can reverse the table structures or use a query to reverse the output structure directly. Once done, save the metadata and let's consult the data to make sure everything is working fine. Now, we create a mapping where we use the query as a source and output as a JSON. Then we can create a filter on the source where we specify the web service input parameter. In the process, we drag and drop the mapping, declare the web service input parameter, and drag and drop the JSON file, and mark it as web service output. Finally, we publish this as a web service. API calls can be made using the Stambia runtime endpoint URL and is ready to use. Although, for more advanced requirements, customers can use API management tools. The API management layer using Apigee will help secure, monetize, monitor, and analyze your APIs. Let's create a proxy for this web service in Apigee and see how we can set some policies to secure, restrict, and measure the performance of this API. Provide the Stambia runtime endpoint as target and mention the process name, which was published as a web service. And with some basic settings, deploy it on a test environment. Let's call this API to test the results. Right now, we have a basic proxy created, which can be accessed freely. Now, in this proxy, we can add some policies. Let's use the develop page to access the proxy flow. Inside the pre-flow, Apigee provides various kinds of policies. Let's add a quota limit for this API and set it to maximum of 2 calls per minute. Just save the proxy and you are all set. We will call the API 3 consecutive times within a minute now. And the third time, it throws our quota limit exceeded error. Let's now secure this API by adding authentication policy called verify API key. For this, we create a product in Apigee and add this API and further create an app to generate the API key. Now the API calls throw error for invalid API key and only works with a valid key. On the other hand, we can replace the API key with OAuth verification, with some additional steps to generate the access token by creating another proxy and creating a product and app for it. Now when calling the API, it throws invalid access token error message and works only when provided the valid access token. To improve performance, very often, caching policies are added to the proxy. So let's add it. Now you can see that the response time has improved compared to the previous requests. And further, you can monitor the traces to know details in the background. Finally, the overall performance of the proxy and the metrics around it can be analyzed through various statistical dashboards. The end-user statistics can provide you with valuable information to better manage your API development and provide enhanced and optimized functionalities. From Stambia runtime, users can pick the Swagger definitions URL. In Apigee, using this URL, users can create a spec. This is where Apigee will import all the API definitions, so all of these can be managed. As an example, we can see the Get Album by Artist API definitions here. With Stambia, users can now focus on designing complex processes for different kinds of needs and publish them as a web service. And further, can use any API management tool to manage their APIs and have a better control over them.